I'm not sorry for what happened, but I am sorry for Nerissa. She might have made a good queen, but we couldn't wait long enough to find out.
He backs into the shadows, 1 foot behind the other, and I can't stop myself from reaching for him. He can't leave, not now. I need to know more. Nerissa! Something sharp stabs through my chest, a pain so fierce I can barely keep myself on my feet. Nerissa, my eldest sister and heir to the Pegasi throne! Vex was the only one who ever smiled at me, except for Nerissa.
Nico!
Footsteps echo through the darkness, but my mind has trouble processing the presence. Nerissa, she was going to be queen. She hated our father, but she loved me. And now, she's gone.
Nico, what the hell are you doing out here? Didn't I tell you to stay in the club?
The captain's voice rumbles right past me.
Are you even listening to me?
Stop, Calderin.
Bash shoulders past the captain, but I see nothing but shadows and shapes dancing behind the tears filling my eyes.
Can't you see they're upset?
Cauldron huffs a breath, while cold metal fingers take me by the arm and help me stay upright.
Are you hurt?
I shake my head, unable to speak, and Bash lets out a relieved breath.
Let's take them back to the ship. This isn't the kind of place we should hang about. Damon, do a sweep of the area. Make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary.
I don't see it when Damon sinks back into the shadows, as quiet as mist, but I feel when Bash gently takes me by the arm and guides me in the direction of the ship, Calderin walking up ahead of us. Bash leads me through the crowded streets of the city, and I'm glad for it because my mind is elsewhere, lost in memories of the past. Before I know it, we're in front of the A6, ascending the loading ramp to the docks. 3 heads snap up when we enter, and immediately Riona is on her feet and coming towards us.
What happened?
I'm not sure, exactly.
Bash moves away to give me space, though all 5 of them continue to look at me, waiting for answers, until Calderin cuts in.
You shouldn't have left the club. You have no idea how dangerous the city can be for someone alone.
I'm sorry, I didn't...
Didn't think? Yeah, that seems to happen a lot, doesn't it?
Cut it out, Calderin. The last thing we need right now is your bad temper.
Calderin opens his mouth to speak, though stops himself at the sight of Riona's glare.
Fine.
Throwing his arms up in frustration, he backs off and leans against the far wall, a sour expression twisting his features. Riona comes over, putting a hand on Bash's arm to make sure he's alright, before turning to me.
Are you okay? When you didn't come back, I was so worried about you.
She lowers her voice and leans closer, glancing at Calderin before fixing her bright yellow eyes on me.
He may have said it the wrong way, but he's right. Las Vegas is a dangerous place.
I'm sorry I just disappeared. I should have said something. I think back on meeting Vex in that alleyway, on the things he had said to me. I had been such a fool to think that I had meant something to him. Shaking my head to clear the thought, I decided it's best not to dwell on it now, especially not with so many eyes on me. I didn't mean to worry you.
I'm just glad you're all right.
I smile at Riona gratefully. It's nice to have someone worry about me, for once. I've never had many people like that in my life before. I take in a lungful of air, steadying my breath as I scan the room. One look at the pilot sitting with her arm cradled against her stomach brings the memory of the night crashing back on me in a wave of guilt. Aya, is your hand all right? Ayame grins at me, as chipper as ever. I imagine it'd take a lot more than a broken hand to slow this girl down.
A little sore, but it'll be fine by morning. Doc's amazing at her job, and having all the right equipment on the ship doesn't hurt either.
I smile at her in return, glad to hear she's okay, even with my failure to bring back the ice for her hand. I feel terrible that I abandoned her, after everything she's done to make me feel welcome with the crew. I can only hope that the truth of who I really am won't change anything between us.
Damon!
When I follow Riona's gaze, it's to see Damon entering the bridge. Fresh, scarlet blood splattered over his face and the front of his clothes.
What happened?
Riona rushes forward to help Damon, who simply holds a bloodied, gloved hand up in front of him to stop her.
We were followed. The blood isn't mine.
Shoot.
My gaze darts between the captain and his second in command, as does the rest of the crews.
Followed? How?
Damon shrugs, his cold eyes pinned on Calderon in a way that sends a shiver down my spine.
Ask the commander over there. Surely he knows how a guard ship is capable of finding us.
A collective murmur goes through the room, and I swallow around the lump in my throat. More concerning than the fact of being followed is the splattering of blood on Damon's clothes. The blood couldn't have come from Vex, could it?
Guard ship? What's going on?
They must have put a tracker on us.
Calderon's voice is quiet, and I get the impression that more than anything, he's angry at himself. Damon shakes his head and scoffs.
You didn't think to check?
I was a little preoccupied with the great bloody hole in my ship and the stray that June brought aboard.
Annoyance surges through me at the captain's casual dismissal, and my eyes narrow darkly on him. You know that I'm still here, right? Calderon gives me a heated look, though June steps in to my defense.
Nico was right. There's no need for that. I'm the one who made the decision to bring them on board. So if you want to be mad at someone, let it be me.
I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just...
A growl tears from Calderon's throat as he kicks over a stack of metal boxes, completely losing his cool.
How did things get so screwed up?
Things were always screwed up, Cal. We just never learned how to deal with it.
The captain waves a dismissive hand at us all, before pinching the bridge of his nose and taking in a deep breath to calm himself.
What's done is done. We'll check in with Oppo about getting a CD.
A cloaking device isn't gonna do crap if they already know we're here. And how the hell do you expect to get the money for that anyway?
Bash helps Damon find an old rag, leaving him to wipe the blood from his face and clothes while the captain growls at him.
How we always get the money, Damon. We're mercenaries, unless you've managed to forget.
You know just as well as I do that we don't have the time for that.
What else do you propose we do?
Aya gives him a helpless shrug, her glare burning straight through him, and I take the opportunity to speak up before Calderon can enrage anyone further. There might be another way. 6 pairs of eyes fall on me, and I hesitate. It's not ideal, what I'm about to propose, but I value our lives far more than some old trinket.
Well, if you have an idea, then spit it out.
Taking in a deep, shaky breath, I meet his eyes. We can sell my music box. It's made from catalphanite, right? Surely it's enough to buy the part you need and then some.
No, absolutely not. Nico, you can't just sell off the only link you have to your past.
I look at no one but the captain, gauging his response. Finally, upon making a decision, he lets out a sigh.
I agree. It's not something any of us would ask you to do.
You're not asking. I'm offering. And besides, it's not my only link to the past. June steps forward, his eyebrows dipping in clear confusion.
What do you mean?
The reason I left the club was because I saw someone from my past. A member of the Royal Guard.
Royal Guard? I don't understand. What was someone from the RG doing here?
My voice shakes, thinking back on the confrontation with Vex in the alley and everything he had told me. I don't dare tell them that he had lied to me for over a year, pretending to be my friend while gathering intel for the man who murdered my family. And I definitely don't tell them that because of my own naivety, I played right into the palm of his hand and gave him everything. When I saw him, I started to remember. I remembered that he was the guard who was assigned to me because I...
Damn it.
Calderon swears under his breath, and when his eyes lock on mine, I know he's the only one who's figured out what I'm trying to say.
Go on. Tell them.
With a deep breath, I compose myself, taking the opportunity to look between the crew before things between us are changed forever. My name is Nico Pegasi, and I'm the youngest child of King Fenris and the Lunar Queen, Nicole. The faces in front of me are a mix of horror, confusion, and anger, and my stomach drops, knowing the weight of the bomb I've dropped on every single one of them.
Well, this changes things.
This changes everything.
Damon is the one who approaches first, the hard set of his gaze a perfect contradiction to the grin that tilts his lips. He studies me for a moment, seeing me through new eyes, before he turns back to the crew.
Don't you see? If we turn the little royal over to Zovac, it could be just enough to wipe his bounty on us from the record.
I do nothing but stare at him in disbelief, my heart pounding in my ears like a drum. What did he just say? At least 2 shouts of outrage come from the group, though Damon only smiles wider, his teeth glinting under the fluorescent lights.
Damon, no!
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely not.
You've gone too far, Damon! Nico is one of us, and we're not just gonna hand them over to their family's murderer.
Agreed, and I will kick your butt if another word of it comes out of your mouth.
My eyes catch June's for the briefest moment, but he looks away just as quickly, fixing Damon with a hard stare. Damon snorts at Aya's threat, rolling his eyes as if he couldn't care less. Then he steps toward the captain, his face blocked from my view and his voice low, calculated.
Cal, I know you agree with me on this.
Calderon looks past Damon, those cold eyes fixing me to the spot, though I harden myself and stand my ground. And then he shakes his head at his second in command, his voice rough, leaving no room for debate.
It's not an option.
Damon clicks his tongue in disappointment and backs off, hands held in front of him in defeat.
Alright. Have it your way. But don't go crucifying me for saying what you're all thinking.
He slinks away like an angry cat, every pair of eyes on him as if he might snatch me anyway, until he disappears up the stairs and out of sight. Once gone, Calderon lets out a tired sigh.
I think we should call it a night. It's been a long day, and there's much we'll need to discuss tomorrow.
Aya gives me an encouraging smile before heading off with the others, and I feel somewhat reassured. I want to speak to her about all of this, more than anything, but I have to agree with Calderon that it's best to wait until tomorrow.
Nico, I need to speak with you.